Go ahead, Mo. You can go first.
No, just wanted to ask if you could hear me.
Yep, I sure can. I think Rashad's gonna come. Ron, feel free to jump up if you want. If anybody else wants to talk, feel free to request. And it's an open forum, but we can get started, and you and I can take the lead for now. Mode.
I mean, I can talk, so I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I can keep you guys busy for a whole hour if you want.
You're very good at spilling in the space, and I can talk about random things forever. I'm a very good talker too. I just don't know all of the same details of like what you know about Alephium, which that's what people ultimately care about. So let's, I guess, let's start with, I don't know. Since the last time we talked over the last 2 weeks, where have you been? What have you been up to? Yeah,
I
let's
mean,
quickly summarize that.
yeah, quickly. I mean, I don't know if I can do that quickly, but I can try. So last time we spoke, I was in Fort Lauderdale. This name is so tricky to pronounce properly. For Mining Disrupt, it was at the end of Mining Disrupt. I had 1 week, fully jet lagged, was terrible, couldn't sleep at night. And then this week, I was actually in Paris Blockchain Week with Hong Shao and Bertrand. Actually, we just posted, Alephium just posted the thread. Where the more interesting part of what I did have been posted, because in my account I just posted a couple of pictures here and there. But actually we went mainly to Paris Blockchain Week because we were co-hosting a side event with Stacks, which is one of the OG Bitcoin layer 2. And so I had a panel with Draper VC, X Capital, and Hero System, which is kind of the developer tooling company for Stacks, and then a wallet, Xverse wallet as well. And we were talking about just like the potential of Bitcoin now that there's a little bit more adoption. Talking about the thing that we talked about in the panel was, I felt like I was the least qualified to talk, but then I checked, but I did get people to laugh, so that was good. So we talked about, yeah, like the potential for Bitcoin. What I said was around the fact that Bitcoin, even now that it's getting adopted, it's mainly used as a speculative active, even it's positive speculation, right? But there's a lot of opportunities to have Bitcoin being like kind of a settlement layers for a lot of other things because of how it is the most decentralized network. It is the most battle tested network, and even though it is not programmable, it still has a lot of value to anchor other stuff, like other things, and can be kind of a settlement layer. So we talked a bit about this. The part that I found very interesting is that, especially the people around the Stacks ecosystem, is that they are only now starting to see people, because now Bitcoin is starting to be adopted more. Only now people are slowly starting to be, and Bitcoin is being used as a reserve. So people are starting to be interested about ways to generate yield with that reserve that they have, because with everything, you don't want to have capital staying idle, I don't know how to say, not moving when it could be generating things. So they were saying that 3 years ago, whenever they were talking to people about things like this, people were not at all receptive. They were barely receptive to considering holding Bitcoin. But they are starting to see a shift with more and more people slowly being interested at ways they could leverage their Bitcoin to generate yield and do more with Bitcoin, because now the first use is starting to be democratized. And so at the same time, you also have traditional financial firm who wants then Bitcoin, but those are industry where people are used to making their money work. So they are looking for ways to make their Bitcoin work. And so it's interesting because it's a big opportunities to take that liquidity and channel it if you manage to bring that kind of yield. So it can be, and this is something that is extremely relevant for Alephium, because as you know, like, especially in the decentralization proof of work space, there's a lot of people who are very maximalist. And right now, if you want to have any DeFi with Bitcoin, it is on proof of stake for a lot of them. You do have a few on layer twos, but a lot of those layer twos are not really decentralized, or people don't consider them decentralized. So Alephium is actually is really well positioned to maybe attract some of that liquidity. So it was very interesting to see. I learned a lot about facts that I didn't know. I don't know how relevant it is for this call, but it was really, for me, it's always, I'm so Alephium centric that I'm completely blind a little bit to everything else that happens. And so it was really interesting to learn about more stuff. And yeah, in this side event, it was really an ecosystem we're not used to being in contact with. So the Bitcoin Maxi, we are in contact, but obviously the Bitcoin Maxi, a lot of them are not pro layer twos. So we've never been into the pro layer two Bitcoin Maxis, I would say. And so it was interesting. It was very interesting to be connected to this space, to hear a little bit what is happening there, the challenges that they have. And yeah, and I would say, we have, again, a lot of opportunities because, for example, Stacks, they have a VM, but it's not a Turing complete VM, which means that you do have some certain use cases cannot be done on chain. And so for certain use cases, they would need to have a lot of the logic off chain because they are not Turing complete. And that's not a problem that we have on Alephium because our virtual machine is Turing complete. So it's, again, it was nice to see that we're not a layer two, of course, but that we are quite competitive in the end and have a lot of opportunities in that space. So yeah.
Yeah, what's kind of been really eye-opening to me is with the latest chaos around um Trump and his tariffs. That's been fun, right? With TradFi and markets just absolutely puking the last week or so. Bitcoin has stayed relatively stable. And that's impressive because it's just showing that adoption is coming. And the more stable Bitcoin can stay and have less volatility to the downside, just the more adoption and the more comfortable you'll see average retail investors or even institutional money, retirement accounts, etc. They'll be less nervous to enter or to inject capital
Consider.
into it, and that's just the beginning of adoption, right? Getting Bitcoin adoption is going to come first, of course, but it just shows that crypto in general is on a path to greater adoption, which is a good thing, I
Yeah,
think.
Ryan, you're absolutely right because usually when the stock market goes down, pukes like 10, 15%, Bitcoin pukes 30%, and then alts 60%. Bitcoin actually holding up. I mean, it's such a bullish sign that it's slowly decoupling from TradFi and becoming a place where people can, like, a store of value that actually isn't completely connected to TradFi. So I think this has been a really good litmus test for Bitcoin. And to jump on what Mode was saying about Alephium as a potential, place where people can, use Alephium as kind of a layer two for Bitcoin. There's another aspect of compatibility, which is Alephium is UTXO, like Bitcoin, which makes it easier to create interoperability. um, as you guys said, Alephium is proof of work, but Alephium is proof of less work, so it's more energy efficient. So there's a lot of synergy between the two that we can hopefully keep pushing, because I think there's going to be people who are going to want to use DeFi on with their Bitcoin, and the maxis are slowly starting to come around. So I think those are all really positive signs.
Yeah, I fully agree. And I think for me, this is the part that is interesting because, again, I think we have a very unique positioning in the industry. There's not that many other proof of work doing what we do. And if you look, Caspa is doing a very different route. They're going for the layer twos. My understanding is they will do it. They are trying to design the layer twos in a way that would be less cannibalistic compared to the way it is on Ethereum, with the fees benefiting to the miners on Caspa. But it's they are. My understanding is that they're going the EVM route with all of the challenges that come with that. And so I think for me, it's always nice to be into those places and to see that what we're doing is still pretty unique and extremely relevant. And of course, it's always about timing. But you see a lot of things that it's even like Bitcoin. Bitcoin had been around for so many years until like suddenly everyone is interested in it. And so I think our ability to also consistently deliver, it means that when the time is right, we'll have everything ready. So yeah, it was a really nice event. The weather was just fantastic. Like, it was a super warm day, super beautiful. We met a lot of people. I actually met, the part that was cool, I met a couple of the hackathon participants from Cryptoxer. Yes, sorry, I struggle to say this in English. My French and English brain just mixed up a little bit. And it was cool because I saw a couple, and actually one of the participants was in a team who won the Solana hackathon that was taking place during Paris Blockchain Week. And they were doing something pretty cool with like some sort of simplified AI interface to interact with DeFi. So where you can just talk to your deck. It's like it was really cool what they're doing. And so they would be interested to see if this is something that could make sense for Alephium. But it was really nice to see that I mean, I had no doubt about how great the participant that came at the Cryptoxer hackathon were, but it's nice to see that they went on to win, another hackathon. And so that was really nice because they were part of the people that gave very, very super positive feedback on their developer experience on Alephium. So that was really nice. It was a super nice event. It was a super nice event.
Yeah, keep networking. It's all in all a good thing, and the more people see you over and over again, it's repetition. It shows Alephium's here to stay. They've already given positive feedback, and they're even if they're not, even if some of these people develop on Alephium and then they disappear for 6 months, they can always come back, or they stay or whatever. But anyway, that's all encouraging and positive, and yeah, no, a great update. And I'll also add that you picked a perfect time to go to where you were in. So wait, I'm confused. So the last event you were just at, that was in Paris, right? And
Yeah.
before that, Crypto XR was in the mining
Austria.
event
It
was
was
Florida.
no, so it was so in anti-chronological order. I was in Paris yesterday.
Oh,
I came back yesterday night. Then before that, I was in Florida for
uh,
Mining Disrupt. And before that, we were at Cryptoxer in France as well.
yeah, couldn't keep track of it. So
Yeah, and then
Paris had good weather right now as well. It's turning into spring
it
summer
was.
in
I
Paris as
mean, you
well.
can look at the picture. You can look at the picture I posted. It was just like summer.
Oh, okay.
Actually, I had a few interviews and stuff outside in a place where they have some sort of sand, and I just could not open my eyes. It
Hmm.
made like the same effect that when you have sun on snow, and
Yep.
completely like. So that was it was lovely weather. And then the next event we're going to is Token 2049 in Dubai in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks,
Holy
at the end of
cow.
the month.
Are you exhausted yet? I can't eat. I'm not even the one traveling, and I can't keep up with everything you're doing.
I am. so behind on work, and this is the part that annoys me the most. So we try to be very efficient. Like, for example, Paris Blockchain Week was it was 8, 9, 10. So we arrived on the 8th, left on the 10th. Like, it's not like we arrived on the 7th, left back today. The side event was on the 9th. So we tried to be optimal into this, because small teams. So, I mean, Bertrand is doing BD. So in the end, what he's doing is this daily job. For me, it means that a lot of the other stuff that I do get postponed. And I have to say that I don't know that I'm still fully over my jet lag from Florida. Somehow, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just getting old. It's just that, but
Well,
yeah.
you're at least getting some good miles. Maud, I'd ask you this: what's the sentiment at these blockchain conferences right now? How are people
So,
feeling overall?
I mean, I would say people are the people who actually go to the conference, right? Because I guess the one that probably a lot of people choose not to attend. I've heard different things. So the people that are there are all like confident about the market picking up by the end of the year. Some people say July, some people say September, but they feel like, things will settle down, and everything, and the level of adoption and credibility that the space has is unprecedented compared to, the past. So most people that I spoke to were pretty optimistic for the end of the year in terms of cycles. I did hear that the current market were affecting a lot of projects, because obviously a lot of projects at the end of last year, they were all expecting, because at beginning of December, the entire market kind of had a little rally. It wasn't just us, it was actually a kind of a little market rally, and then that went and crashed and burned. So a lot of projects were expecting a bull market, which has not arrived. So I've heard about a lot of projects obviously scaling back their spending, but also project maybe not surviving the market situation, which is really sad. I mean, it's also an opportunity for us, because on our end we're good. We always are very conservative, so for us it doesn't change much, I would say. And so, in the end, being consistent and being able to continuously deliver no matter market condition becomes its own value proposition. So yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'll say from just my personal experience in even random projects that I'm following outside of Alephium, that I got introduced from various things I've seen over and over and over again. Some of these projects that are delaying going to mainnet just because a lot of people don't want to launch in this environment, or exactly what you're saying, they're running out of capital or whatever reason. But it's encouraging to hear that, the Swiss leaders of Alephium are conservative and plan for the future, and just know how to manage a budget, a company, whatever you want to call it. So that's
Yeah.
encouraging. And I'll also add that there's still a lot going on within the Lithium ecosystem. I know
Yeah.
Alf Banks, for example, Tim posted, I think on April 3rd, a really good update slash roadmap post
Yeah.
to mainnet and post mainnet. So if you haven't seen that, I'll I'll find it and I'll
Yeah.
tweet
Yeah,
it.
and WeMind has been, very active, like Vortex. Now I need my list.
I
There's
know, I
Aura
know.
as well. It's like I shouldn't start this when I haven't put my a list next to me. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things going on, and I think, at the end, the only thing anyone can do is do their best and continue
Yep.
moving forward.
Yep.
But honestly, I felt like the vibe was pretty good. Like people were pretty optimistic for the end of the year. I think people who were like, everyone was saying it's a difficult situation, but they were not too bummed about it. Basically, they were just like, yeah, sucks,
It's
but we move forward.
you can only what I tell people that I talk to, you can only control what you can control. You can control your own personal life and your mental, just your mindset and what you're building and just your own personal life. You can't control the greater market conditions. You can't control Trump and tariffs. You can't control the quantitative easing and the Fed dropping rates. That stuff is all going to come when it comes, whether it's end of spring, summer, fall, Q1 of 2026. Who knows? It's coming, but the timeline is unknown, so people can come up with predictions of when it's going to happen, but that's all it is predictions,
I,
right?
I think Ryan is dropping some good stoic wisdom. I mean, we can't control market conditions, we can't control tariff wars, but all we can do is control what we have in front of us and kind of, make the best out of it, day to day. And for Alephium, it's building, it's doing marketing, which and branding, all of which is going to take a front seat. There is one thing that we should mention, a bit of macro news. That's kind of been lost in the shuffle of the tariff war. Uh, the Senate has just confirmed Paul Atkins as the chair of the SEC, and he's very pro crypto. He owns crypto. He is probably the most pro crypto appointment ever to the SEC, and that's kind of bullish for regulation. That's bullish for mainstream adoption, and I think because of the tariff war, something that important has kind of disappeared from the headlines because people are so focused on the tariffs. They've missed out on a couple of key things that have happened, and they've fallen through the cracks. But actually, long term, looking at things for long term adoption, for mainstream adoption, things like this really matter.
100%. Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people there were in the end pretty optimistic, and I'm also pretty optimistic. Is like, good things take time. Obviously, we all want things to go faster, especially good things, but there's a lot of progress happening. And if you take a step back and you look at things a little bit more holistically and don't focus exclusively on price and look at things, is like the industry is moving forward. There are good things being built. In terms of adoption, there's massive progress being made. So there's a lot of potential, and it's always, have you ever seen this picture of the guy the guy is actually mining or digging a tunnel to go to the treasure, and he just stops right at the moment where he was going to get it. So I think the important part is also to keep pushing, because it's so easy to get discouraged. And I mean, I understand, it's like there's some days that want to stay in bed as well. But I think, if you, like Ryan said, you can only control what you do and how you react to things. And I think we're really good at, again, being very consistently delivering significant improvement. Like, it's not just like little network upgrade that do little changes. It's like significant improvement to the chain, significant improvement to the environment. The ecosystem is continuing to grow in an environment that is definitely not the most welcoming for growth, and all of that is extremely positive. And of course, we all would want more, faster, but in the end, slow and steady win the race, right?
Yep, completely agree. Quick timeout. I wanted to mention I pinned a comment up above in the space to presence protocol. Same thing is the last time 2 weeks ago. We'll draw in the next few days a winner. I'm going to share the password at towards the end of the space. So we're roughly a half hour into it. Sorry, I was supposed to announce this at the beginning, but roughly at the 1 hour mark, I'll share a password and mint your presence at Presence Protocol for a chance to win a prize. That's my
Oh wow.
announcement.
Prizes are always good. That's all I'm going to say. Prizes are always good. And I think I really like this idea with Presence Protocol. So this is going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's super cool. I haven't claimed any of my presence thing, my presence token. I know I'm terrible.
No,
I
me too.
wanted to do it last time. I wanted to do it last time, and then it's always I get sidetracked with something else, And I do want to say, because I know a few people. I don't know if he's in the call. But someone from the community wrote me on Telegram during Paris Blockchain Week, and I didn't answer. I saw, but sometimes I don't answer because I don't want to lose the the little icon that reminds me that I have to respond. So I don't want to open the message because I don't want to lose it. But then I lose it anyway. I have to catch up with a lot of things, and eventually I need to get my presence protocol. Did you say the code? Like the pass code?
I did say that I mentioned that I'm going to say it, but I haven't
Oh
said it
yeah.
yet. I'll send it. I'll send it soon. If I give it away now, people are just gonna, mint their presents and then leave, and we can't have that. So I'll say it soon.
Well, I mean, once the recording is out, people can just scroll to the end.
True. Maybe I won't. I'll do
Or
it.
you just
I'll
have
do
to
it at a
have,
I'll do it at a random time in the next 20 minutes. How about that?
or you can give like 2 letters at a time, and
Yeah.
people really have
Yeah.
to listen to everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll give you a hint. It's very obvious. Never mind. No hint. It'll give it away.
is
All
it
right.
my name? Is it my name? It
No,
should be.
no, it is a I don't even know it's here. Here's a big hint, guys. It's a day of the week. Anyway,
Uh,
all
well,
right.
is it
Oh
the worst
wow.
day of the
Wow.
week, or
Day
is
of the
it the
week.
best
I'm going to
day of the
guess.
week? Is it the best day of the week or the
It,
worst day of the
definitely the best.
What is
I-
the best day of the week? Friday or Saturday?
Is
Say,
it the day of the week that's named after Thor? Is it that one?
Yeah, the day of the
after
week that
Thor?
after Thor. What day of the week's named after Thor?
Think about it, Ryan. It's etymology is right there. There's one day of the week that's named after Thor. Which one do you think it is?
Thursday?
Yeah. Yeah.
How is this the best day
No,
of
well,
the week?
Thursday, you confused me, Rashad, because Thursday is definitely not the best day of the week, but it's close to Thor. It's close. It's closer than it's like it touches Thor. How's that? And then I'll give you
Okay.
another hint.
I kind of want to say I'm sorry, but Saturday is the best day of the week because
Well,
Friday you still have to work.
It is, but you get to look forward to Saturday. The reason I can do spaces on Friday is because people typically on my calendars try to keep meetings to a minimum on Friday, so I can A, get out of work a little bit earlier, B, when I'm at work, it's not as busy, and C,
You
I
know,
get to stay up late because I don't have to work on Saturday, etc., right? So it's the
yeah,
start of
but
the
but
weekend.
Thursday is so close to Friday. That's why I think it's a great day of the week. And it actually Thursday actually is named after Thor. In Old English, Thursday is Thor's day. So all of those like days of the week are named after like, uh, based on, mythology, what have you. But yeah, Thursday is Thor's day in Old English, and it's so close to Friday. That's why I feel like it's a great day of the week. You're so close to the weekend, but you're not there yet. You can smell the weekend, but you're not there yet.
I feel like this is a little bit what's wrong with humanity. The anticipation of a good day is better than the actual good day. So we are more we are looking so much forward to the future that we don't even actually enjoy what we were looking forward to. So Saturday should be the best day because you literally enjoy Thursday and Friday
I
because
still think
Saturday is
Thursday.
Sunday.
Thursday is my favorite day because I love it. It's like it's still work day, but the weekend is close, so I roll with Thursday. Ryan, I don't know what you're gonna throw at us, but just as long as it's not Monday, you're all good.
Yeah,
All
it's
right,
like I think
all right.
Monday is universally agreed to be the
I,
worst day of the week.
we've talked about this. I'll just tell you all, it is Friday. It is in all capital. So if you go to the link that's pinned above to presents, the password is Friday, all capital. Bam, enter your chance. Wait, mint your presents and enter a chance to win a prize. Hey, Mode, let's pivot. Mark DM'd us a question that someone had, and it says, what have you been hearing from people slash developers regarding what they are most excited about for the, oh God, I'm gonna butcher it again. I'm gonna say Denavi, and
And
it's wrong, but the next network upgrade, the ability to do the
Danube,
follow-up Danube,
Danube,
the Danube
Danube.
upgrade, and then the follow-up question was the ability to do multi-chain, multiple operations in a track in a transaction looks interesting for DeFi. So, do you have any comments, feedback from other
I mean,
developers or people that are looking forward to utilizing it, or that I don't know, any comments, I guess?
I think specifically, I would need to look back. I think two things. I think with reducing the block time to 8 seconds, we enter the realm of being competitive for certain DeFi application. I remember back before the last network upgrade, we were talking to a team that was looking to building perpetual DEX, and they were mentioning that for what they do, it's block time is really important, and they felt like we were at 64 seconds at the time, which obviously for them was a no-go because that was just too slow. I was mentioning we were going to 16, and 16 are like, that's better, but it's and now when we enter the 8 second, we are now becoming very competitive. We're now becoming competitive for that kind of DeFi application that want more, that need more instant confirmation kind of things. Like 16 second was a lot better, but it was still not within the range of competitiveness against certain proof of stake network. And now with 8 second, we are a good choice, and it's not a so I think this will be very important and very good for some of those DeFi applications like perpetual dexes or others that need a little bit more instant confirmation and more rapid chain. Because again, people tend to think TPS as speed, but as a normal user, you only feel the TPS if the network is congested. The speed of the network that you feel as a user on a day-to-day basis is the block time. It's not the TPS.
Right.
It's kind of, in the end, the TPS is more the capacity of the network rather than its speed to some extent. So I think this one is really interesting because it really now, the block time was an argument for sometimes certain type of DeFi, maybe not, Alephium not being the best home for certain type of DeFi. With this reduction, that's no longer the case. And because I know that there is thoughts already for the future, because the core devs keep moving forward, of potentially even going below that, which would be kind of unprecedented for a proof of work network with smart contracts. Like on the main chain. So I think this one is really exciting on the DeFi front. I mean, another part that we're looking, there's the passkey, but there's also like email login. So like same thing where you can leverage, instead of using passkey, or you can use like kind of the email login as a way to log in. This can be very beneficial for the user experience for dApps developer, because you just make it so much smoother for users to leverage your DEX, your dApp. That can be a DEX. So a few people mentioned that was super cool when we were discussing network upgrade.
So wait, because maybe I just missed that. So I think when you say email login, you're like the logic behind that is just for more adoption, user friendliness, whatever. Like the average person when they log into their bank account or anything account, random account that they have outside of Web3, they're used to an email plus a password, and you're
But
saying,
no, not that one. More like the one, where you use I think I actually haven't tested it, and I should. Maybe CGI was looking into it. I know he asked to test a few stuff so he can clarify, because that part I actually didn't check in. So my understanding is it's more like the login like you have, where you can log in to Twitter using your Google account. So it is actually not a new password, not a new thing. It's actually your Google account that is used as your login into another dApp. So my understanding
But
is that it's
is your wallet connected to that email, or how does that work?
but it's the same thing. If you open, it's like, for example, now you can open a Twitter, like Twitter is maybe the wrong example. I have to think of an example that I had recently. Your ChatGPT account. If you open a ChatGPT account, you can either manually put your email, define a password, or you can use Google as your login. And so it's actually your Google account that is your login.
Yep.
And it's the password of that Google account. You just need access to this Google account to access your ChatGPT account. So my understanding is it's that the same, is that it would be your Google account that is used for you to access. That can be your wallet, that can be your dApp or things like this. My understanding is that it is that kind, rather than putting your email, putting your password, because that doesn't require. This is something you could already do now if you wanted. You can just put the name of your wallet being your email, and like so I'm pretty sure it's that one, because that one doesn't require any storage on our end, like and on the dApp, because you don't want to have to deal with that kind of data and save that.
Right.
But basically I think it's the way it happens in the other stuff is basically your Google account is kind of the passkey that give you access to that app in some extent.
Gotcha.
Is the identifying thing. So in addition to the passkeys, there's also that. But I don't know if TGI is there. He can correct me. I don't know if maybe he's writing in the chat, and maybe
I don't see it, but
no, maybe
CGI, feel
he's
free
not.
to add some context if you can hear us, and we'll
Yeah,
read
but
it.
my
But
understanding of it, and I'm pretty sure that it is more the kind of integration which is like this. It's like ChatGPT. When you want to create an account, you can either do the manual way, email, password. You can use your Apple ID, or you can use your Google account, and you connect with Google. And so I think my understanding is that it's kind of that connect with Google or use your Apple ID kind of thing.
yeah.
So you don't have to have another account, another access, or something else.
No. Yeah, gotcha. Cool. There's a lot of cool. I mean, Chang has said it. Like the number of features, the lines of code that are changing in this upgrade is even bigger than Le Mans and any other previous upgrade. So I know there's a lot coming, and
what's funny is that every network
it
upgrade,
just
they
gets
want to
bigger.
make it smaller. No, but
Oh,
what's crazy is that the intention is always to make it smaller.
and then
Like,
it never happens.
but it actually ends up being more every time. And actually, there's a few things that they wanted to put into this one that they did not yet. So meaning they could have made it even bigger.
Sure.
But every time when they start again after a network upgrade is released, it's like, okay, let's do a smaller one so we can, deploy it faster, and it never ends up being the case.
Sure.
Another one that people were excited about, devs specifically, was the chain transaction stuff, which I forgot exactly what it is, but it's really nice because it allows a lot of nice use cases. Like, for example, the chain transaction is what is going to help the group list address. Because at the end of the day, you'll still have 4 address per group, but you have I don't know exactly how the design works, but my understanding is that you kind of have the group list address, but in the back, it's basically an abstraction, meaning that in the background, you still have the 4 address per group, but you have the group list, this is abstracted. So from that single address, because you have the chain transaction, you can actually have all of what needs to happen in one step, basically.
Which is in terms of a sharded blockchain, really, there's two things I would say that have always been a con for proof of work specifically, and then also Alephium sharding. Alephium is sharded, right? Which is the fact that proof of work inherently is slower typically than proof of stake, and you're addressing that and getting it down to 8 seconds. And if you rewind a year or two ago, it was 64 seconds. So over the last 2 years, you've gone from 64-second block time to soon be 8 seconds. So it's significantly becoming competitive, like you said. And then also
Less
with
than a year, if you think about it, because
yeah,
the down
yeah,
14 to 16 was less than a year ago.
yep,
Hey,
exactly.
let me just jump in here and drop the new Alephium motto, which I love, which is move fast, break nothing, shard everything. So I like that. It's a cool new motto, and I think it really fits the ethos of Alephium.
Yeah, no, definitely, totally agree. It's
Yeah,
Elysium is here for the long run, and building to be here for the long run. A lot is happening, whether internally within the network upgrade or mode traveling or the ambassador program, which we haven't chucked on. We haven't mentioned yet, but the ambassador program revamp was announced, I think, roughly 2 weeks ago. And correct me if I'm wrong, Mode. The deadline for applications and that is roughly open for what, another week?
I, I don't know. I
Okay.
haven't looked.
So,
I believe you.
someone ping me real quick if you know, and I'll mention it. But
I haven't been actively involved in this, and so I don't know the exact details. But yeah, I think it's still a bit like this. But to go back on what you were saying on the shorting, right? So we're addressing all of the pain point. Alephium. Obviously, you have to start somewhere. So mainnet launch, MVP, first network upgrade, improvement, and like this. And so we're slowly but surely tackling all of the everything and being improving everywhere. And you were talking about the sharding, and I think from the get-go, Alephium sharding design was already more efficient and user-friendly than a lot of other sharding implementation, because it was implemented on UTXO and proof of work versus pretty much every other sharding implementation being built on account-based chain, and in a lot of cases proof of stake. So already from the get-go, the implementation was a lot smoother than you experience. Like, for example, I remember, like, if there's I think Cadena, it's the case, and it's not just Cadena. I think Nier also had this. For a lot of those chain exchange, we're only supporting deposit from a specific chain. Because of our design, that was never a concern for Alephium. It's like the sharding did not impact transaction whatsoever. The main impact that we had in the beginning is around developers, and if you have contract in different groups, they can't talk to each other as smoothly as they could if they were in the same group. If you have an address, it needs to be in the same group as a smart contract you want to interact with. And as a user, your addresses have groups, and you're like, what the fuck is a group? But that's a lot less.
right.
It's a lot less friction than, oh, if I want to deposit on an exchange, only this chain work, or if I want to move from there, I need to now kind of bridge between the two chain. It's two-step process, or like it's still, it was still already pretty more than competitive and better than the competition when it comes to sharding design and sharding user experience. But with the groupless address, as a user, sharding is completely abstracted and you don't see it at all at all. As a developer, it still matters. As a
Correct.
developer, that part still matters, but the end users don't see it, don't feel it. But I do want to be also clear with everyone. We're introducing a new address standard. There's a transition period, so we're still also thinking about the best way. I was talking with Hong Shao about this, like, what is the best way to do the transition to make sure that, because it's a transition period. It's like with Bitcoin, you have the old address type, you have the new address type. Like, it's a transition into how do you make this as smoothly as possible. So it's not like we turn on the network upgrade, magically everything has changed in your wallet without you doing anything, right? There will be so we're still thinking about the best way I mean, the devs right now are thinking about it.
When you say there's a transition period, I know, for example, when the network upgrades, if you want to take advantage of the groupless address, you need to generate a new address that is groupless, I'll call it, right? And then send your funds to said groupless address. But the transition, the devs, the community devs projects will have to adapt to the new network upgrade.
I mean, I don't think, my understanding is that actually not from the address side of things, because again, in the background, you'd still have I think the groupless side, like the change of address shouldn't impact too much the dexes. It would be more for like the dApps. It would be more for the wallets, for example. So all wallets, meaning like when someone creates a new wallet now, the default would be a groupless address versus a random one of the four. But you still have all of the people who created their wallet before and have addresses in multiple groups. Like
yeah,
meaning
I have probably 16 wallets in my addresses within my one, seed phrase, for example, and of different groups, and yeah,
and
yeah.
so it's about supporting both, because I think people probably might still want to have a group specific address. Do you only make groupless address? Do you allow people to choose? Do
Hmm.
you ask you anyway have to continue supporting both, because there's all the legacy addresses and stuff. So there's question around that. There's a lot around also the front end aspect of this for the wallet. So I think, yeah, most of the work will be more on the wallets, whether it's all wallets, whether it is the hardware wallets. So I think, like, again, I think the phase between testnet and mainnet, I personally think it will be a bit longer than the previous network upgrade, just because there is so much more coordination that needs to happen,
More
because now we have
complexity.
all of
Yeah.
we have all of the hardware wallets integration, and Ledger uses our wallets, but we still would need, I think, to update our Ledger app so that it and SafePal is their own wallet, and then probably the exchange as well would need to change the way they generate addresses for future. They don't need to change the past one. They can support both. Maybe for exchange they don't need to, because for them anyway it's only transaction no matter what, so it doesn't really matter. But there's a lot more. But yeah, there will be a lot more to coordinate as well. But it's exciting. Like, I mean, I like change personally, so for me that kind of things, I'm actually that's the part. Coordination is the part of the work I
Let
actually like. So
let let let
gets me
let
excited.
let me try to simplify to the average investor within the ecosystem, not even to the devs, but to the people just holding ELF as an investment. Essentially, what this means is that the core team is continuing to build, enhance, push forward, super active like they always have been, improving user experience, all of basically not a dead chain. That's what it means. Pushing forward, building for the future. So it's
So
yeah,
Ryan, if we could put this in like one sentence, basically the Danube upgrade is making Alephium better for developers and users. It's making it just better for all of those people.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Better, quicker, more secure, more scalable. But we can just say for users and developers, Danube upgrade is going to be like, a
Yeah.
shot of steroids or something. So
And I focus on the parts that I understand the best, but I honestly think the chain transaction, I know, like, the people who are testing on DevNet, I know this is something they are very interested in because it simplifies a lot. So I think the cool thing about the chain transaction thing is it will allow to simplify the design of certain operation and of certain things, certain features that you could still implement before, but they were maybe not as fast or you needed more. And so, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited. I feel like every network upgrade, I say this, but every network upgrade is better than the previous one,
It
And
it definitely is. I mean, the very first one was
and
DeFi is possible. That was the big one of the very first one. Lemon, the big thing, at least for me, was 64 to 16 seconds from my standpoint. That's what I noticed the most. And for this one, for me personally, I'm not a dev, so just for me personally, it's groupless addresses and again a further block time reduction. And I know it's a lot more than that, but those are the two big things that I guess I'll initially notice the quickest. But I agree, it is bigger and better every time, and it is very exciting.
yeah, and I mean, I want to say thank you, Rashad, because I feel like throughout this call, you taught me so much, between like Thursday being Thursday, then also the SEC nomination. Is there any other things, for people who want to start the weekend smarter than they finish the week? What else did we miss, and what else should we know?
Well, that's a great question. I think those two are pretty good. I think those two are pretty good starting points for this week. I really think that when we get Ryan to the next, meetup, we got to take him on a cruise on the Danube River so he can see, so he gets the name right. So, it goes through like 8 or 10 European countries. So, Ryan, we're getting you on a cruise. I think that's our main goal.
Maybe we
Um,
could even be nicer. We could do a collect to send him and his wife on a Danube cruise, so he doesn't,
My wife is trying so hard to get me to. I've never been on a cruise. I've traveled a decent amount. I've been places, but I've never done like an actual like cruise, live on a boat for days. So she's trying really hard to get me to do that. I've done like go tour this river, not the Danube one. But I did Chicago and I don't know, various ones. Actually, random thing about me that I really want to do, if you guys want to do it with me while we're still all semi young, is I want to go whitewater rafting because I think it'd be fun. That's
I
my
mean, I have done this as a team building kind of thing, not with Alephium, with 2 jobs ago. My boss threw me in the river, but it was good. Like you genuinely jumped, because in the end you often fall into the river, but I was
uh-huh.
targeted specifically. I don't
That
know
that
how
sounded like
good
it
I
was
was.
intentional, not on
Yeah, no, it was 100% intentional.
yeah.
100% coordinated all of this.
Hey,
So
Mode, change the subject real quick. I'm putting you on the spot here, but do you think we're going to do a 2025 or 2026 or any time in the near future, another dev meetup? Is that something that has been
we
discussed or
should.
thought
I
about at
want
all?
to.
Say that again, sorry.
I want to. I actually already asked for some quotes from places and stuff, but I haven't gone too much forward as to pitching it internally, but I slowly started looking into it. I think now, because it is April, if we do it this year, it would be probably more like September rather than June. I mean, it could be in the middle of the summer, but the issue of the summer is every nice place is quite expensive. So September is a little bit more cost efficient if you want to go somewhere nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
I'd be fine with
but
that.
me, I would really want to. So I started getting a little bit, options here and there, and it is on my to do to pitch this, to the core team and see. But I would want to,
Yeah,
because for
it
me it is my best memory, one of my best memory at Alephium. So
it is. Yes, it needs to happen. It would be amazing to have it happen. It was so much fun. It was amazing. So, I guess for people that weren't there, bringing everyone together and meeting people in person is so much different than even doing this, right? Just talking in spaces, or even if you're on a one-on-one phone call, meeting someone in person is just a completely different vibe. And just bringing the devs together, it was just so motivating to everyone. Everybody had such a good time, and it just brought everybody's energy level up, which motivated them to go build. So it's focused around builders. But when you do builder meetups like that, ultimately that flows back into the community because people are motivated to go build something and deliver and can pass those vibes off to the greater community. So yes, let's push mode when you submit this proposal to Chang or whoever you have to get approval to do it. Um, maybe we can demand it via, a Twitter thing to give you ammunition that the community wants it.
It's like, please do.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, we want to meet up. We want to meet. That would be I want to meet up too. Fuck, there was something I wanted to say. I forgot. It
Well,
was
Mode, you did ask for any other important news. There was some more news. I believe this was either today or yesterday, but there was a new bill passed by the new administration in the U.S. basically nullifying an IRS rule that was going after DeFi. Basically, DeFi was being treated as a brokerage. So any kind of DeFi protocol was being targeted as a brokerage, and that rule was nullified. And I think it's the first piece of crypto regulation that's actually passed in the US. So it's basically the justification was if you go after DeFi, if you treat it like a brokerage, you're going to stifle innovation and the US is going to get left behind. So, as of, I believe, yesterday, April 10th, that IRS tactic or that IRS law has been nullified. So, that's another positive step, not just for Alephium, but just in general for the whole crypto space, because I think regulations and the lack of regulations are actually good because it's going to give people clear guidelines on how to operate and not be living in fear of the SEC. So there's been a few pro crypto things that have kind of been happening in addition to Paul Atkins. There's been a few pro crypto things that have happened, but they've been overshadowed by the tariff war.
okay. It's like I need more of this because I'm so bad at keeping track of everything. Thank you for this. Did you actually know it, or did you did you go look for it when I was talking? But I love that. Thank you so much. No, it's super.
I actually read about it yesterday, but especially because we've been keeping an eye on Alephium Bank, Alf Banks. So
Yeah.
I think for us, we're always keeping an eye because the U.S. hasn't been really friendly for people if they want to launch a DeFi protocol. So we've been keeping an eye on that because we've been following what Alf Banks has been up to. Ryan, should we discuss Alf Banks at all?
We
Sure.
can.
Sure. So I put a comment. Here, I'll pin it to the top. There? No, not that one. Uh, hold on, guys. I'm gonna get this. I have to do it for my phone. I was trying to do it for my laptop, but I'm in. Boom. I did it. So it should be pinned to the top of this space now. But anyway, it's a link to Alf Banks's roadmap. And I'll tell you quickly the significance of it. The very first tweet is talking about them restructuring their team. I think it was public knowledge that Tim is the visionary and the entrepreneur funder, he had the plan and the inspiration in his head of what he wanted from Alf Banks and that's known and he talked about it a lot and had a beautiful vision, but he wasn't actually he's not a dev, right? So he outsourced his dev work and the significance about him restructuring his team, for those that don't know, is like it's public that he added K KK Croder. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name, but the Alf, the God, I'm butchering it. The launch pad. What's his name? Oh my God, guys, help me out. I'm drawing a blank here. His his launch pad. Elf pad?
Alpha, yes.
Yeah, Elf pad.
Alf
Okay. Sorry, sorry. It's
Friday
Friday.
brain fart, I see.
It's Friday, midday Friday for me, and my brain's just
So,
fucking melting. It's just
okay,
melted. But
so you
anyway,
can't tell me that Friday is the best day of the week after
it,
that.
it,
It's like, clearly, it's not the best day of the week for your brain.
I need a drink. Anyway, he's restructuring the team to go from outsourced devs to bringing in-house devs and people that have equity in the platform. So adding Kickroder as like the CTO is massive. I think everybody knows him. Super organized, super smart, just a very capable person. So him going from outsourced devs to internal devs that actually have skin in the game is huge. That's number one. And then number two is he released his roadmap for pre-mainnet what they're doing, which he put it as weeks 1 through 6, and then post-mainnet what they plan on doing after Elf Banks officially goes mainnet, what they're doing for the next months after that, and what the delivery plan is going to be. So I think this roadmap was posted on April 3rd, so roughly a week ago, which means mainnet should be coming in the next 5-ish weeks, I believe. So that summarizes it, Rashad. I don't know if you have anything you want to add, but it's a pretty
I'm
significant update.
Listen, I think Alf Banks had a lot of hype. It was probably the most hyped project on Alephium. It was burning with anticipation. And then things slowed down. There were some issues with the original team who were very, very, very talented, but there was just issues with the cost basis. And then there was a bit of a period where people were getting a little deflated, disappointed with Alf Banks. That being said, I think one of the best attributes that Tim has is that he's very flexible. He knows when to change course. He changed course. He picked the guy who, in my mind, has made the best launch pad I've seen anywhere. I've been in a few launch pads going back from last cycle. AlfPad is the best launch pad I've seen, been a part of, period. I think he picked a great CTO and he's changing course. And as you said, Ryan, you took the words out of my mouth. He picked a team that have skin in the game. They actually have Alf Banks. They hold Alf Banks. This isn't just a paid gig for them. They support the project. They support Alephium. They believe in the vision. And I'd rather have those guys building the DeFi protocol, for me than just kind of mercenaries that you're paying. And for them, it's all about a paycheck. I think he picked an amazing dev to be his CTO, and I think he picked people who are really going to make Alfbank something special. So for those of you that have been a little disappointed with the stalling of Alfbanks, I think we'll be on track. And I think we'll be on track really, really soon.
And I mean, I think just also to say is like, so CTO, I don't know that CTO means he will lead the technical direction. I think they're also looking into additional developers. But I also do want to say is like, I think if people had expectation, I also think part of the disappointment is not fully out of, people transpose also disappointment in the overall market into projects, into things, because this is just how we are. But I mean, to be fair to also Alf Banks, is like, the environment in which they are launching is very different from the one they imagine. It's actually better for the project, like for that kind of project, if you launch at the top of the bull run, the price is gonna drop dramatically, because after a bull run you have the bear. So it's better to launch at the bottom than launching at the top for that kind of project where you want to avoid like depegs and things like this. So actually it's probably a better market to launch on that front for that, but it is still a different market than what they expected. And I also think like this is a very complex protocol. Like they are projects. I was talking to a project that they've been on testnet for 3 years. So meaning that
Totally agree. Totally agree. And when Mode mentions a project like that, it's a lending protocol. It has a stable coin. The stable coin has to stay pegged. It
it
it's
can't be
much
a 2 weeks testnet. If it was
right.
a 2 weeks testnet, you probably should. I would be worried if it was me.
Correct.
Like this,
Correct.
there are some
Correct.
things you have to take time. And again, like I was talking to other protocols and things are like, yeah, I was like, oh, what's the status? Like, oh, so now we're like finishing, like we've been on testnet. Oh, since when? It's like, oh, we're almost on the 3rd year. We have a couple, we'll have a couple other version of the testnet before going live on mainnet. I mean, obviously, this is a very drastic counter example, and there's the whole spectrum. And obviously, you have people that are a lot faster, but it's also to the point that the testing phase is very important, and it's not something that you can, it's not something you should try and fast track, because it's a super important aspect, especially if you're building a very sensitive protocol.
Yep, totally agree. It's complex too, right? So there's a lot. It's just important. It's just important that when they actually hit mainnet, that everything's right, good, thoroughly tested. I talked to him. Rashad and I were just talking to him late last night, and he said he's in good spirits, and he just said crap ton of testing is going on, and that's good, right? And he's loving the new team, and it's going well. So he's in good spirits, and it's going well. And if you haven't read the roadmap, read it, and you should feel good. And I guess the other thing too I'll add is around gigatons, Giga Heston, he heard, I guess, the community, and that more people just wanted more communication, and if you're in the Gigatons Telegram, you've been getting exactly that. He's been posting updates, he's been posting global news, he's been communicating. So it's all good, guys. The future's bright. The people that are building, have been building, are still here building, and yeah, yeah, there's nothing to really complain about.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I think for me on this, I think it's also like, fundamentally, Gigaton is a Web 2.3 company. Like, the main business is not a Web 3 business, right? It's a real world business and things, and time frame and communication is very different than the kind of communication and engagement that people expect in crypto.
Correct.
Right. And so I think there's maybe some adjustment to be thought through here, of just like, if you give people Web3 communication expectation, that's different from Web 2 or Web 2.5 communication expectation. Like, if you look at I don't know, any Web 2 company in a similar industry, they typically don't have Telegram channel or stuff like this. So I think I've also heard that they are thinking through the best way to combine that kind of dual identity that they have between, the main business, the reality of the main business, the time frame, and the communication style of the business, and the Web3 identity that they have as part of their business as well. So I hope that communication improve for everyone, whether it is, by clarifying expectation or by just adjusting, I don't know. But I'm also excited to see the spring of Gigaton. Let's put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, he even Giga Heston in his Telegram today, this morning, it was talking about there might be anyway. It doesn't matter. We don't need to go read it for yourself. He's communicating, but basically, Q1 was heads down, working with partnerships and building, and Q2. He's basically said that ideally some of these partnerships will become public, and someone asked when public, and his comment was when they are commercially ready. What
Yeah,
that basically means is they're Web 2 partnerships, and you actually have to sign a contract. So he's got to wait. It's got to come together.
yeah, and I mean, they did announce, actually, the Abu Dhabi Mobility, I forgot exactly the name, but the Department of Mobility of the Abu Dhabi government did announce their partnership, and that is, in the traditional word, it's a pretty big deal. So I mean, I'm excited to see what comes next, because it's also something that has a lot of potential for Alephium. But the cool thing is that it is one of the projects that has a lot of potential for Alephium, to position Alephium in the RWA market, also to bring credibility. I mean, it's a wealth of potential for the future of Alephium, but it's not the only. There's so many other cool things happening. Some are known, some are in progress and things, and so I'm really excited for 2025, for the 2025 year for Alephium.
Totally agree.
Something good has to happen. This is such a nice year, like, you know, like just visually. 2025 has to be a good year because it just looks so good.
Totally agree. Hey, Fashi, and I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. You have your hand up. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're saying it correctly. Hey, what's up? So yeah, um, I have like yeah, a question and a suggestion. So my first question is like what time of the year are we getting the a hackathon, like half hackathon? And a suggestion I have is if we're gonna be like, if our hackathon is coming, we should have like a series of workshop which will serve as build up to the hackathon. So in these workshops, devs get to, you know, play around or work with Ralph, and you know, get to know about what Ralph is and get to know about the Alephium ecosystem. Then once we have the hackathon, boom, they will be able to easily build. So probably we can have regional workshops on maybe introduction to RAF or guide on building on RAF, just workshop. So that will now serve as like a propeller for the hackathon. So I was just thinking randomly on the spaces now that
No, but it's good
something like this.
mention this, because it's actually, we are planning this. So during the Berlin Blockchain Week, we'll have there will be a workshop. I know we're looking to also do one in China, and we'll be looking to do a little bit more of those, especially around / after the network upgrade. And it's a really great suggestion. Like, it completely makes sense, and that's part of the reason why we want to do those smaller workshop in local communities, to build up to maybe a bigger online hackathon with more and more participants. So great idea. Already something we are thinking about. And how was your presentation? I know you attended one of your local events, and you were talking about Alephium. So how did it go?
Yeah, it went well. And in my presentation, I had to like use similar terms to people. So I was using qualities of other chains like Ethereum and Solana to, you know, describe how Alephium is unique and how Alephium was different. And in addition, I would like for us to have like a workshop here in Nigeria also, so to serve as a build up to the hackathon, because I'm always looking forward to hackathons and stuff like that. It gets more people attracted, like, you know, to it create awareness. Once people say, oh, an hackathon is happening here, they want to, like, you know, strive and, you know, be the best and something like that. So yeah.
Hey, Fashi, I have a question for you. Did you apply to the ambassador program as an application? Because things like local in your area, meetups, events, hackathons, per the ambassador guidelines, correct me if I'm wrong, if approved, can be sponsored or help paid for by the core team using the ecosystem funds. Is that correct, Mode?
Again, you're asking me, I haven't checked, but anyway, even outside of the ambassador program, we would support that kind of initiatives. And if you were to organize, if you wanted to organize a workshop, we could look with I mean, obviously, we wouldn't be able to travel for all of a regional workshop, but we can always do some of them online, because specifically, so, you know, we had the small hackathon at CryptoXer. Now there are planning a workshop for during the Berlin Blockchain Week. And this is something, again, looking to replicate also in China as well. And once you have the format for the workshop, it's something that is very easy to replicate in multiple places. And obviously, it's always nice if you can do it in person, but having an online version of the workshop targeting to specific, like to local communities, can also work. So that's something we can definitely look into. I don't know if we'll be able to send a dev each time to each workshop, but I think the format also works really well for like online workshop. as well.
Yeah, I guess I'll clarify. I read the ambassador program guidelines, and basically you earn rewards points.
But we
In
would
that
help.
you would essentially it would help. But yeah, I totally agree with the team can't be everywhere across the globe at all times. So no, anyway, yeah, I guess I
No,
won't commit to anything
that's
because
100% what we want to do. So what we want to do, the only thing is, I think we're also looking to make those workshop Danube upgrade compatible so that we don't have to change everything again after the network upgrade is there. But that's definitely something that we want to do. So it's a great suggestion, and it's already something we are slowly doing and preparing to ramp up.
great. Hey guys, we're going on an hour and a half into this, so I don't. This might be a good closing point. But is there anything else, Maud or Rashad, that we haven't covered that you guys would like to cover?
I'm hungry. Other than that, it's fine. Because it is like 7:20 and I didn't have lunch. 7:20 p.m. and I didn't have lunch, and so I was so hungry.
Yeah, I hear you. I ate my breakfast/lunch right before this space, so I'm okay. It's only 1:20 for me, so it's sunny and beautiful out, but I actually have a 1:30 meeting, so I do have to get off within 9 minutes. But anything else you want to add, Rashad?
I think we covered a lot. Unless there's any questions that we can take in about 8.5 minutes, I think we had a good meetup.
Yeah, agreed.
So if there's any questions, raise your hand. We'll try to answer it in now 8 minutes, and if not, we'll just wait till the next DAO space, which is, I believe, 2 weeks from now.
Correct. Correct. I'll guess while we're waiting to see if there's any questions, I'll last time remind you guys that linked below is Presence Protocol, where you can mint your presence to this space and be entered to win some elf/a prize, which someone from the DAO will be responsible for drawing. The protocol itself draws a winner, and then we'll post a winner from the DAO account. Twitter account. But anyway, follow that link, mint your presence. The password is Friday, all capital. That simple.
And please do tell us if you also think that Friday is not the greatest day of the week. Friday is the greatest day of the week. But yeah, well, thank you so much for having me again. It's like people must be tired of having to listen to me talk every time.
No, never, Mode, never.
We
Ryan,
we have
Ryan,
uh, we have Ron with a question. I'm just gonna say Friday is also a great movie. That's a movie from our childhood with Chris Tucker and Ice Cube. Love that movie. Ron, what do you have for us?
Can you say the password one more time? It like cut out whenever I was joining.
Well,
Friday, all capital, Friday.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks.
Was that your question, Ryan? That's what you came up to say?
That was my question.
I
Yes.
think that was his question,
All
man. The
right.
anticipation was so much higher. We were
Yeah,
expecting some
yeah.
kind of
it's like
Ron insightful question, and he just wanted to know the day of the week. All
Ryan,
right, Ron. I
Ryan,
appreciate
Ryan,
it.
you're such a
too
good
much
speaker.
hype under delivery. It's like,
All right, guys. I appreciate the talk. It was good as always. Look forward to the next one. If anyone has any topics or things they want us to discuss in the next space, feel free to tag us on Twitter, DM any one of us. Just get a hold of us, and we'll add it to the list of topics for the next time. But until then, have a beautiful, wonderful weekend, and yeah, enjoy it. Thanks, guys.
bye, guys. Have a great weekend.
Bye.